Besides the feats, I determine who wins. Welcome to Entertainment Fight Night, EFN. Hello, this is War with Words, and I bring to you EFN, Entertainment Fight Night. Today we bring to you Wonder Woman versus Thor, Greek versus Norse, DC versus Marvel, Goddess versus God. Now, I'm not going to use the super high-end feats for Thor because that would make this unfair. No beating Galactus or Celestials, but I'm going to keep it fair. Still top-level, mid-range feats. Now, this first video is going to be for Wonder Woman, and the second one will be for Thor, and the third one will pick the winner, just like always. Now, let's begin. Now, for detail Wonder Woman's strength, she is stopping a meteor from hitting the planet, and then lifting a giant airship, and of course, far more impressively, here she is breaking a Green Lantern structure, which, as we've said before, has blocked supernovas, and here she is pulling 1/3 of the planet, of course, the Superman, the Martian Manhunter. You've probably seen this before, and of course, pulling the moon with Superman and Green Lantern. And finally, her probably best strength feat was she was fighting someone, and their fight broke the planet in about 12 places. Pretty impressive. But far more impressive than her strength is actually her speed. Here she is reacting to Flash hitting him mid-blitz, and here she is being stated to be faster than a heartbeat and a thought. Here she is, not even in the picture, but she intercepts Omega beams aimed at Superman, and if I remember correctly, Omega beams are pretty much faster than light. Here's a scan of her speed lassoing up Amazo, who, as you know, has the powers of the different Justice League members he's fighting, and even his base powers are Justice League. She lassos him up before he can move his arm and think. Here is a scan of her blocking Superman's supposedly faster than light heat vision, and here she is tagging and knocking out Flash in one hit. Here she is blocking what is supposed to be trillions of shards of a shattered god. And here she is dodging said heat vision by Superman. Now for her durability, here's some heat resistance where she survives in lava quite easily. Here she tanks Superman's hit that knocks her through orbit, and of course she tanks the heat of reentry and the impact with the planet. Here she tanks a hit from Zoom that seems to knock her between continents, I believe, and she even says he hits harder than Superman due to his time travel abilities. Here, she tanks what looks like an attack, possibly on her soul from Hades. I'm not sure if he's going all out, but he did seem like he was having no mercy. Here's a scan of her taking a magical attack that, as you see in the scan, he takes out Superman with his staff, and which is important because a lot of Thor's attacks are magical. And here she is tanking a nuke like nothing. She just punches the missile, boom, doesn't really hurt. Now, to add on to that durability, or should I say different factor of that, it's her healing factor. As you see here, she heals what looks to be some aging magic. She turns really old, decrepit, and boom, she's right back to normal. And here she does it again, but this time there are cuts and she is reduced to a skeleton, but then she's right back to normal within a panel. Another part of her durability, probably the biggest part, is her bracelets. As you can see, they are unbreakable. And here she can block what appears to be a scream, so it's not just limited to physical attacks. You saw earlier that she blocked heat vision, the shards of a shattered god, and Omega beams. Omega beams, which pretty much can erase people from reality, are top level attacks. Here she blocks an explosion that seems to ragdoll Martian Manhunter a bit. And very important against Thor is a scan of her blocking lightning with her bracelets, and another one of her deflecting or blocking Necron's dark lightning, Necron being a very powerful being. Now to look at some of her fights, here she is fighting Ares, and then here she is a different time killing Ares, god of war, and I believe maybe even god of the underworld at the time. A lot of things happen. Don't ask about it. Here she is versus Captain Marvel. They fight a bit, and just note how effective her lasso was against him. Stops him dead in his tracks. This is a possible strategy against Thor. Here she is against Power Girl, completely outclassing her and even overpowering her. We know Power Girl is essentially Supergirl from a different continuity. And here she is killing Genocide, who I believe was a god killer of some sorts. I know he's a powerful being, but the main point of this is that it shows her tiara is sharp and can cut off high durability people's heads. So Thor might suffer that same fate. Here she is, a very impressive showing, fighting a bloodlusted Superman. Notice she tanks hits, she fights back, she tanks some freeze breath. She overall outfights and outmaneuvers Superman. She's able to deal with his strength despite being overpowered a few times. Even had her hands tied a few times and still was in the fight. And of course, she managed to win the fight by cutting his throat with her tiara, forcing him to bleed out and stunning him long enough that she could kill Max Lord, the guy controlling him. And of course, near the end of the fight, they show just how fast they are as that entire fight, including going the time when he took her up to the sun and was beating her down, and of course getting amped himself, and of course that's when he hits her down and makes her experience re-entry, and all of this happened little less than 2 minutes. So yeah, it's a really good showing. So overall, she has the strength near planetary, if not planetary. She has durability to fight the likes of Superman and Captain Marvel, and she's killed other gods like Ares. And most of all, her speed is Flash level, at least reactions, which will give her an edge on Thor. And that's just my analysis. Now, feel free to subscribe if you want to hear more, and make sure to go check out the other videos on my channel. And make sure to visit my site at www.warwithwords.com. Thank you.